everybody, and welcome back to One Nerd to Rule Them All. And in today's video, we'll be discussing the conflict that united Gondor and the Éothéod, the homeland of the Rohirrim. Today, we are talking about the War of the Wainriders. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. The War of the Wainriders was a conflict between the Easterling Wainriders, their allies, and Gondor with its Northmen allies. In the more than 600 years following Roman-Darsil II's defeat of the Easterlings in 1248 of the Third Age, Easterling tribes of the Rune had not been a threat, as Gondor possessed eastern territories all the way to the shores of the Sea of Rune, and also had the loyalty of the Northmen of Rhovanion. However, the hatred of the Dunedain and the men of Gondor survived in the remaining tribes living further east, and was ultimately united in a confederation, probably by agents of Sauron. In 1851 of the Third Age, the Wainriders began raiding eastern Gondor and the princes of Rhovanion, causing much destruction and leaving many dead, especially amongst the Northmen. After 5 years of attacks, Gondor finally assembled an army, led by King Narmacil himself. The battle was lost and King Narmacil was slain, as was his faithful Northman ally Marhai. Afterwards, Gondor lost its eastern territories, and the lands of Rhovanion were occupied and enslaved. For 45 long years, the Wainriders ruled in Rhovanion, where they built homes, settlements, outposts, and storehouses, most likely with the use of forced labour. Although most of the Northmen of Rhovanion fell into slavery, some survivors of the sack, and many people into fugitives by the Wainriders, take over following Marwini, the son of Marhai, southwest into the Vale of Anduin, south of Mirkwood, where they settled. They would soon become known as the Éothéod. Éothéod continued to oppose the invaders, maintaining friendships with Gondor, and learned that the Wainriders had grown hungry for more conquests, and that there was great hatred of the Wainriders in those that they had ruled. By 1899 of the Third Age, they knew of the Wainriders' plans to attack Gondor's province of Calededhorn over the Undeeps, and gave the information to Gondor. They began to coordinate a plan to rouse and assist a rebellion in Rhovanion, where the war began. As the Wainriders prepared for war, Gondor's king, Kalamendhar, preemptively sent a great host against them out of northern Ithilien. With this, the Wainriders' plan to attack Calededhorn was changed, and they instead set out to confront Kalamendhar. This worked in Gondor's favour, as it allowed for the two foes to meet, all force in one place instead of many, leaving the Undeeps undefended. Gondor and its Éothéod allies took quick advantage of this, and sent their own cavalry over the Undeeps to attack the enemy from behind. The two armies met at the Second Battle of Dagorlad, and the Wainriders were defeated with Marwini's Éothéod support, and Gondor's cavalry assailing from the behind. The Wainriders' defeat led to an uprising in Rhovanion by the slaves, but the Wainriders were not completely expelled from the west, as they still remained in Rhovanion, due to their partial failure of the slave rebellion. The Éothéod also continued to harass them from the west as well. The Wainriders had been checked, but they had not been defeated. 45 more years, the Wainriders were still a problem, despite their losses in the west, and plotted a new campaign. Needing more support to recoup their losses and to defeat Gondor, they formed alliances with the men of Harad and those of Khand. Once again, the Éothéod warned Gondor of this new threat to the west. In the month of Carme, in 1944 of the Third Age, war was resumed with the Wainriders and their allies, threatening Gondor from both the north and the south. Odenar prepared to meet the enemy in the north, while Eärnil, his most trusted general, prepared to face them in the north. The king marched his army out of Ithilien, intending to fight the enemy once again on the Dagorlad, but was surprised in the front of the Black Gate by Wainriders from Rhovanion, and a combined Wainrider-Varig army from Rune, travelling along the Ash Mountains to battle. Their king Ondinir was utterly defeated, losing his life and his two sons, Artemir and Faramir. Some survivors retreated south, but the field was lost. The Wainriders advanced into northern Ithilien with no opposition, setting up camps. Here the victors celebrated, believing Gondor was at last defeated. But this was not true. For Eärnil's smaller but well-led southern army defeated an army of Haradrim in South Ithilien and proceeded to march north to face the Wainriders. He met up with some of the retreating troops from Orondir's defeated army and fell upon the Wainriders' camp in a surprise attack. Wainriders were completely defeated in a great rout. Those Wainriders that didn't escape back to Rhûn died in the Dead Marshes. The war was over. The war led to a series of events that created the Éothéod, who later became the Rohirrim. The Wainrider invasion was devastating for Gondor, resulting in loss of territory both in the east and Umbar and heavy casualties, with the loss of 2 kings in battle. The Wainrider invasion therefore weakened the kingdom at a critical moment and prevented it in aiding Arthedain when attacks were renewed by Angmar at the same time of the third Wainrider assault. Therefore, the rulers of both kingdoms became aware that a malign force was coordinating attacks on the exile of Númenor, an indicator of the return of the Dark Lord Sauron. That brings us to the end of today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any more suggestions for any battles, fights or wars that you want to see, then let me know in the comments down below. I also want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, as this will be my last video going out before Christmas Day. If you don't celebrate Christmas, happy holidays. But anyway, I will see you guys in the next one. Hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you are. Bye for now.